This is why you died.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special holiday edition of This Is Why You Died, a horror film podcast that's here to put the coal in your hole. My name is Sir Ian Dangerous, and I am joined this festive time of the year by Mr. Dan Marcha Madness and the one and only Ryan Ross live. Happy holidays to you boys.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I'm a little terrified of this particular opening, but
it sounds like a scene from Terrifier 3, putting some coal up a hole.
Put some coal in the hole. That's right. A great Christmas movie, Terrifier 3.
That's also a great Christmas movie.
And I should say, as of the time of recording right now, it is December 6th. So happy St. Nicholas Day to you boys. Classically, this was the feast of St. Nicholas. The St. Nicholas of Myra, the Greek, now Turkey, but the Greek saint in the 4th century who would go on to be known as St. Nicholas, St. Nick, Santa Claus. He'd all be worked together. We're going to get into all of that in our show today. So happy St. Nicholas feast. Well, it's also December 6th is also, National Microwave Day, Mitten Tree Day, and National Gazpacho Day. So happy all of those.
You know, I feel like we have a day for everything nowadays.
We do have a day for everything. And actually right now, this day is about talking about a movie that we all watch. So we're kind of a new show here at This Is Why You Died, but we decided, even though we're new, that we should give our dedicated listeners a holiday gift of a special bonus episode where we could talk about maybe a lesser known holiday horror movie. Just full disclosure, we threw a couple of ideas around and we all came to the conclusion that we should check out Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale, which is a 2010 film from Finland. And then we're going to talk about it here on this bonus episode and share some holiday cheer along with a torso or two. So, boys, welcome to the show.
I love the Finnish language and how harsh it is. I love, the Finnish are so, aggressive in their language of, I read recently that the way that people describe, my dearest or whatever in their language, the word for boyfriend or girlfriend in Finnish basically means, the one I hate less than other people.
Oh, wow.
And you see that in this film, too, of, the kids, what would happen if I disappear? And the dad goes, you should disappear. To bed. It's late. It's I love the Finnish language.
Language and attitude and everything. They're wonderful and they're wonderful people. They love very big with their hearts, but then also there's just such a dryness to everything. And it's actually kind of Scandinavian, but it's very also uniquely Finnish. So it was very fun to check this movie out. And you guys who are listening should check out our new Instagram page at TIWYD pod on Instagram. And of course, you can check us all out at our respective social media sites. So social media is all over the place these days. I don't even know where to go. Everyone's leaving some places and going to other places, but we are on Instagram. So please check us out there. And thank you for joining us on this holiday episode, our little extra present to you guys at this time of the year. So before we get into the movie, guys, what are your holiday plans coming up? What are we doing? We're pagans, atheists, Jews, Christians. I don't know. What are we all doing for the holidays this year?
I have 2 little kids. I have 2 young daughters, and so Christmas time is a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun. We do the Elf on the Shelf tradition, which I don't know if you know what that is, but pretty much every night I am moving this elf to a different spot in the house, and I have to be a little creative. He's starting to leave notes, communicate messages from Santa. So I'm having fun with it. My wife sends me some cool things on Instagram. Some dads are getting really creative, elves sneaking in through the Ring camera, so you see it entering the house. There's a lot of fun stuff. It's giving me an idea for a new horror movie.
I was just going to say, this sounds like a horror movie.
I think my next horror short, I'm going to have to try to make some sort of horror short with this Elf on the Shelf, because it's right there. It's right there.
How no one has made an Elf on the Shelf horror movie yet, I got to
jump on it. I got to
jump on that.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on this.
Before one of our listeners does it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got to do it before this episode comes out.
That's true.
But
good luck.
Yeah. So just, besides Elf on the Shelf stuff, just family stuff, family time. How about you guys?
So Sasha and I are from the Denver area. We both grew up there, and so both our families are back there. So we plan to head back for the holidays. It's always interesting because most of my family lives out here in LA outside of my parents and my kind of nuclear household. And then now my grandma has moved out there. But Sasha's entire 30 to 40 person family lives out there. So it's always kind of a little bit of whiplash because we'll spend 2 to 3 days with my family doing essentially nothing. We'll like go to dinner and then we have a whole day to like hang out and watch movies and like watch Harry Potter on rerun or whatever. And then we're doing breakfast with grandma and lunch with the aunts, and we're staying with the sister and the like nieces and nephews, and it's a whole parade.
Oh,
and
God.
so it's always a bit of there's a little whiplash, but it's a good time. And we always try and catch up with friends and stuff when we're back. So that's kind of our holiday plans. And then we're coming back before New Year's to spend the New Year's with the new kittens and kind of have a little bit of downtime before we get back to work and stuff. So very much looking forward to that. How about you?
Oh
Ian?
my goodness, that is a lot, man. I'm somewhere between you and Dan there. I am nowhere near as social as that during the holidays. I actually have the good fortune of having a sister who lives up in the snowy mountains near Lake Tahoe. So I'm going to
that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to go up there and hopefully definitely have a white Christmas.
Recreate The Shining.
Not even The Shining. So actually, it's been okay the last couple of years, but one of the first years that we went up there, they had like the storm of the century as I was driving up.
Oh, no.
And barely made it in time and got in and then just got absolutely piled on by an immense storm that I think dumped like 6-7 feet of snow. It was insane. Absolutely mental. And it kept going and kept going. And by the next, like after a couple of days, we were completely snowed in to this place to the point where every highway out of there was covered and closed. I actually have a map that I saved that shows every road out of the area closed off. We were completely snowed in with, my reasonably sized family, maybe like about like 10, 12 of us in this one house, which was fine. It would have been great. It's there with the family. It's the holidays. We got the tree up. We got the presents. I had for some reason known to put on all weather tires that allowed my car to be able to drive around. So we were able to have supplies. Everything was fine, except of course the fact that we were snowed in and couldn't really get out, and the fact that we were at the very location where dozens of years ago, the Donner Party ate each other.
Ooh. Okay. So here it is. We take your Christmas and we combine it with the Elf on the Shelf. You're snowed in and now you're trapped
With
inside
the elf.
with an elf on the Shelf.
With the elf. There you
That's
go.
the movie.
That's
there it is.
Brainstorm done. Okay, copyrighted. None of our listeners can steal that.
And a spirit of the Donner Party is taking over the doll. That's what.
Oh, now we're going
There you
another
go.
level.
Okay.
The spirit of the Donner Party. So the elf's a cannibal.
Cannibal wants to eat everybody. Yeah.
Oh, so you come out like the elf's got a little blood on it, like little strawberry
he's
jam on his
around with
lips.
a little knife. He's like,
I'm not saying you should freak your kids out. I'm just saying maybe at some point that elf's got a little red on him.
Yeah. Oh,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
creepy. That's a little too creepy.
And the cat's gone
But
missing.
I still think I'm still writing this movie. I'm loving this idea.
Well,
Tufts of fur.
just tufts of fur and
my
Fluffy's gone.
Oh, poor Fluffy.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
But he was
so as
tasty.
we were saying, so let's continue with the holiday cheer here and talk about rare exports. So boys, neither of you had seen this before. I had seen it the once way back in the day.
Let me just say, absolute cinema,
Oh,
this film.
I love hearing
am
that.
such a fan.
Yes.
He loved it.
Oh my God.
Ryan loved a movie.
He loved
This
it.
movie is incredible.
Oh, that's so good to hear. So for those of us, I'm hoping, I know it's a surprise bonus episode, surprise movie. So if you could pause now, go watch Rare Exports if you haven't watched it, and come back because we're going to talk spoilers. We're going to talk about this whole movie. But if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, whatever, you can listen to the description too. It is a lovely, heartwarming story about a son and his father spending a Christmas together in the deepest parts of Lapland, Finland, which if you don't know where Lapland is in Finland, it's kind of like the Minnesota of Finland. Like North Dakota, like it is like the deep wilds of Finland, and they live in the shadow of Korventunturi. I still can't get my lips around that, which is a real fell. It actually exists in Finland, and it has long been, for over 100 years now, the official home of Santa Claus. If you are to mail a letter to 99999 Korventunturi, Finland, that letter will actually go to Santa's workshop in the nearby Rovaniemi village, which is a tourist attraction where they say Santa actually hangs out. But in legend, Santa lived on this mountain. So in this movie, they're reindeer farmers. They live in the shadow of this mountain, and some group of British American idiots decide to start digging at the top of this mountain and uncover. Let's just say they uncovered the truth behind Santa Claus.
Right.
Yeah. So boys, what did we think about Rare Exports now that we've all watched it? Ryan, you say pure cinema. Dan, it's your turn now. He said pure cinema. He loved it. What was your reaction?
I was so pleasantly surprised with this movie. There's so many things that work for its favor that just already immediately make it great. It's the perfect running time too. Immediately, I was like, an hour 20. This is great. Just pop this on whenever you want, and it already got going. But I think what I immediately loved the most as I think about it is the lore that it helped create and the universe it built. With the taking this history that made these beliefs about Santa Claus and the origins that I had never heard of, but turning it into this fantastic horror adventure, I'd kind of categorize it. It was a blast to watch, and I loved kind of the world that it kept unraveling as the movie kept going.
It takes some time to get cooking, but once it gets rolling, it cooks. It's just it's going, and you're along for the ride.
That it does. So wait, Ryan, expound on that. So you said it's pure cinema, man. I mean, you were hyped about this movie.
Absolutely. I loved this movie. And I'll be honest, there was a decent chunk of the movie that I'm like, what am I watching? When is anything gonna happen? And then you get actually, ironically, so Sasha came home. I watched it earlier today. Sasha came home a good 40 minutes into the movie. I was like, sit down, we're just getting to the good part. She's like, you've watched half the movie. I'm like, nothing has happened that's important. I can explain all of it in 2 minutes. And I did. And then we watched the rest of the movie. She was like, this movie's great. I didn't need to see the first 40 minutes. I'm like, no, you didn't. And the rest of it's amazing.
I mean, I would argue that the first 40 minutes sets up a bit of emotional connection.
Yeah, that's true, but it can be explained away pretty quickly. There's a lot of kind of slow boil, and then it actually, ironically, it snowballs. It's got this very it goes, and then once you finally get some meat to it, all of a sudden you're tumbling down the mountain, and it's incredible. And I didn't know what to expect, and I was a little eyebrow raised at the beginning of it. I was like, this is a very odd. And then we get going, and I'm like, I am loving every second of this.
I love to hear that. I mean, Ryan, one of the ways that you and I met was you came into the bar where I used to bartend at, and I would have a night where that was just all my own. I could do whatever I wanted. I would play weird movies on the TV. And around the holidays, I would always throw on Rare Exports at least once or twice, because visually, it's a spectacular movie visually. It looks great. It's well shot. The special effects are fine for what it is. It looks incredible, and it's just so weird in terms of visuals.
It's so weird. I can imagine if I could I would love to see people walking into the bar when it's towards the end of the movie, and they're just wondering why there's so many naked Santas everywhere. What's happening?
So Dan, I have to expand on this a little bit, because the thing is that for those listening at home, and for Dan who doesn't know, first off, I will stand by the fact that Ian is was the best bartender in LA, and I will say that up, down, left, and right to anyone who will listen. But the other aspect that was the signatures of if Ian was at the bar were a handful of things. One, SpongeBob was always the first TV walking in, no matter what day, no matter what hour. SpongeBob was playing on the first TV, and then the TV behind the bar was some random horror movie. The most popular movie that I ever saw in the bar, and probably the only one that I can identify, was what's the Pinhead?
Hellraiser.
The name of the Pinhead movie?
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser was the one movie that I could actually be like, I recognize this movie, and it was because I played Dead by Daylight. Any other movie I ever saw in there, I was like, I couldn't tell you what this movie is. We would sit there drinking, looking at it like I have no fucking clue what's going on. But then Ian would come over and he could tell you the director, the producer, where it came from, like all about it. And that this was a signature of the bar whenever Ian.
But that being said, I mean,
fabulous.
you know, to my credit, like I wasn't showing the most obscure movies necessarily. I could show Goodfellas, and you wouldn't have never seen it and no idea what movie it was.
That's fair, but
So-
also, like, let's be real. None of them were real tentpole movies here. Like, they were all pretty niche.
I showed Willow a time or two, but
Okay, because that's a tentpole
how dare you, sir? Willow is a classic.
and a niche. I would argue.
It's not niche. Everyone should know Willow. If you haven't seen Willow, go out, watch Willow and watch the TV show. My point is that during the holidays, I'd show Rare Exports. It was one of my go-tos because it's just such a cool movie. It's cool visually. It's cool. If you sit there and just watch it, you can kind of understand what's going on, even though you're like, why is Santa evil? Why is he naked? What's going on?
Why are there old man dongs
Right.
swinging across the screen?
Why are there a bunch of Santas stalking dudes in the snow and then there's a giant snowball with horns? I don't understand. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And Dan, as you say, like just the way that it touches upon classic Scandinavian ideas of Yule and of that time of the year, wrapping a little bit of, it's not really Krampus. It's kind of like the Yule goat, and it's a lot of these old, I mean, first of all, if we're really going to talk about Christmas as a holiday, we've got to just all come to the agreement here. Christmas is a Frankenstein holiday.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
It's completely ripped from it was pagan, and then it was Christified, and it's got the tree from one thing, and there's fey elements.
What's wild is
all over the place.
What's wild is it's been so many things over the years. One of the reasons why I'm comfortable celebrating Christmas as an atheist, as a guy who's just kind of non-denominational, I'm pretty secular, but I love Christmas because it has come from so many different things. You know, there was a time in the 1600s pre-Reformation where it was specifically like the person who was bringing you gifts in midwinter was Christ. Christ was the gift bringer, damn it. And then, you know, you go all the way to the other side of things where you've got, you know, Saint Nicholas is the person who's bringing you presents all the way from Spain. He's coming over on his ship all the way up to the Netherlands with his little sidekick. What was it? Black Pete, I think his sidekick was. And then on the other end of things, it's completely commercial, where you've got guys, ad agents in 1927 in New York looking at the Dutch population that's brought over St. Nicholas and saying, okay, how do we wrap this up with the image of Father Christmas from England and a bunch of Germanic traditions and a bunch of the idea of Odin, all these different things that are just thrown together into this mishmash that we've got today. I love it. I love that as a holiday. And at the end of the day, it's just about giving gifts to people and being happy in the darkest, coldest time of the year. That's awesome. What's not to love?
Honestly, and even beyond that, I love that the lore of Santa Claus associated with the holiday has become this varied tapestry of history. I want to shout out, there's a TikToker whose name is Pat Manzi. I hope I'm pronouncing that name, but he does like an incredible series on like, Jason, let me tell you the story of the Red God. And like this dark, like twisted history about Santa Claus. And it's incredible. And it's so cool. And it's like, I feel like this movie gave me those vibes too. And I absolutely like, shout outs to his series because it's incredible, but I absolutely loved everything about those twists.
I actually have a poem that I have mostly memorized by Neil Gaiman. And it goes, Nicholas was older than sin, and his beard could grow no whiter. He wanted to die. The dwarfish natives of the Arctic caverns did not speak his language, but conversed in their own twittering tongue, conducted incomprehensible rituals when they were not actually working in the factories. Once every year they forced him, sobbing and protesting, into endless night. During the journey, he would stand near every child in the world, leave one of the dwarves' invisible gifts by its bedside. The children slept, frozen into time. He envied Prometheus and Loki, Sisyphus, and Judas. His punishment was harsher. Ho, ho, ho.
Wow, that was
Bravo!
incredible. And we should just release video of that because folks, his eyes were closed and that was truly memorized.
You were
That was
drawing
incredible.
that deep. Wow.
I love that. I love that idea of the duality of Santa Claus, the idea that there is some sort of weird darkness to it. I mean, we were talking at the beginning of the show about this being the Feast of St. Nicholas today. December 5th, yesterday, is Krampusnacht, where, in some cultures, you've got this goat-headed, single-hoofed demon who comes in, and if children have been bad, he steals them away in a bag, right? There is a darkness to this night. Like, if children are bad, you leave a twig or a piece of coal by the fire instead of putting presents in the socks that are drying by the hearth.
I mean, even we were just joking, but the elf on the shelf is essentially a spying on my children, making sure that they're being good.
Correct.
It's like
Santa's a spy, right?
Exactly.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
He knows
That's
when you're awake.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, super creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Super creepy. You're right. Yeah.
Even this guy, his whole series is about like the red god is like a trickster who tricked all these fey creatures to his will and like bent the elves under his sovereignship and cast eternal winter. It's a really cool, unique take.
I love the fact that in Finland, what do we start the show saying about the Finnish, right? Lovely people, but man, they got some darkness to them, right? They can be really dry.
Yeah.
And now imagine that you're living in the hinterlands of Finland. It's the midwinter, and all of a sudden your entire flock of reindeer, like you need this flock to survive, and they're all dead. You might go up top of a mountain that you're not allowed to go to because it's in Russian territory. You might shoot some frickin' foreigners as a result. And that's what happens in this movie. It makes a lot more sense. It's actually, once you kind of learn about how it is in the hinterlands of Finland, how like the actual culture is there, and also just conceptualize the idea of a winter that cold, that deep, that intense. It makes some of the struggles in this movie and the things that they're willing to do a little bit more real. I mean, in some senses, this movie has an element of like Coen Brothers to it, where the three main guys who are trying to kind of figure out how they can make their money back because they lost their reindeer. It's kind of like they're kind of goofy criminals that aren't really good at crime, right? And there's a humor there to that, but there's also a darkness to it as well because they're genuinely desperate for this 80 grand, 95 with VAT. Right.
Yeah, I love that continuing
Well,
line.
and that's a nice, so many nice little pokes at capitalism in this, and the kind of the bigger world being capitalistic.
And to your point of like how deep the winters get, like that far north, if we're talking like Scandinavia, Finland, Sweden, like they're the region that if it gets later into the winter, we're talking November, December, it gets dark at like 2:00. Like they have really long summer days and really short winter days. And that's just part of the culture. That's just something that they have to deal with every year. But that kind of leans into this desperation of like, it's dark, it's cold, money's important. You can see that after all the reindeer die, they're eating cookies. And he's
well, he toasted the ham.
Yeah, he
did.
He ruined the ham.
He did.
That was so sad.
I love the little.
It was brutal.
I love the little touch though. So another strange, I guess, interesting and strange thing about this movie, and I actually have yet to kind of figure out why there are no women in this movie.
I caught that too.
Oh wow!
And their only woman,
not a single one.
No, they refer. So it's the father and son who are played by real father and son, and I'm going to ruin the pronunciation of this name. I actually had to write it down. Oni Tomila and Jorma Tomila.
Oh, interesting.
So the real father and son playing father and son in this movie. And there's a fairly subtle scene where it's implied that the mother has either died or gone away. And I think the way that they played it implied that she died.
That's how I took it. Yeah.
It's the first Christmas without her. And the dad just does not know how to do Christmas. He doesn't know how to be a dad, really. And the movie becomes a story about the dad connecting with the son, figuring out that his son is actually becoming a man, the son becoming a man. You see that in the son's arc, where he starts off with a little stuffed toy, and by the end he doesn't need the stuffed toy anymore. He leaves behind childish things. And then the father
puts a bear trap in the chimney.
chimney.
I love that scene.
It was so good.
But there's a as much as this movie is cynical and arch and dry and ironic and winking, there's a real heart to it too.
Mm-hmm.
There really is. And I'm going to say it, there's a spirit of Christmas. As much as it deconstructs so much about that time of the year and kind of pokes at it, as you can imagine they would, a lot of people in Scandinavian countries still kind of bristle at the idea of Christianity coming in and taking over their pagan traditions. Mm-hmm. There's still this feeling of camaraderie, of family, of generosity. There's something there, even though at the end they kind of join up into the capitalistic nonsense of exporting Santa to the rest of the world, which I think is a pretty nice metaphor. It still kind of works as an actual Christmas movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It almost felt like this twisted, dark Marvel origin story of mall Santas,
Yeah.
Like this is where all the mall Santas came from,
It was such a great twist.
Which it kind of was. It was based on a short film that the filmmakers had made, 20 years before this. And then they got a little bit more money and made a longer film in 2005 called Rare Exports, The Official Safety Instructions, which is about people hunting wild Santas and then sending them away.
That's explains all the follow the safety instructions jokes.
Yes. So
that
exactly.
Okay.
So and then they made this movie 5 years later with some money that they raised from the interest in those movies. It actually did pretty well. Like it didn't make a ton of money. I think it like doubled its budget, but it won a bunch of awards. It was nominated for the best film at the UC Awards, which is like the Finnish version of the Oscars.
Oh, wow.
And it did actually win. Great. It won for best cinematography, best sound design, best editing, best art direction, and best costume design. Like it dominated. Oh, and best music, but I don't know why. I'm not really a big fan of the music in this movie.
Actually, I don't think I even really noticed the music.
There was a couple of times where I thought to myself, the music could support this scene better. This scene would be much more emotionally resonant if the music sold it better. That's my one big beef with the movie is the music didn't quite land for me. But it won a bunch of awards. It did pretty well, and it's become a cult film. It's one of the reasons I thought we should do it for this show, and I'm glad that we did.
I am very glad that we did.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, guys. So did the like what played the most to you? Was it more funny? Was it more horror? Was it serious? Dan, did you find it funny enough to be a comedy, or was it more of like a genuine scary horror film?
I felt like it was a dark comedy. I felt like it really did a good balancing act of giving good genuine scares, especially when they were like gonna dissect the Santa. Like that whole scene in that butcher area like was very tense, and I thought that those scenes were very horrific. But then you could like tiptoe into these like really good comedic scenes, but dark. It was a very dark comedy. But I that's how I would put it, is like a dark horror comedy is how I would feel it is. But like you said, there's a very good heart, especially that scene with the father and son, like on Christmas Eve, and then kind of how the movie ends with them coming together. I thought was really nice. I thought that was a really good storytelling there.
Well, wait a minute, Ryan. I know you really liked this movie. Did you feel like it was more of a comedy or an adventure or a horror? Like, because you're kind of the horror novice on the show. Did it ring as a horror to you?
I agree with Dan. I feel like it kind of felt like dark comedy. It had like some horror elements. I think that what made it so great for me is I feel like if I were to point at like the moment that it started to roll was right around the time that Pietari comes in to see like them like basically hassling what ends up being the elf, right? Not actually Santa, but and all of the adults buying in. Basically from there, I feel like the movie just takes off, and it takes itself just seriously enough while also just absolutely just like leaning into how absolutely cheesy the fact that they've got the shot of him like with his legs spread and the two horns on either side with the button to like I was just like, this is incredible. Like they're not throwing out the premise at any point. They're still very much within the rules of the universe, but they're like keeping that line of like, we're keeping the through line, but we're absolutely going to have the most ridiculous fun with it that we can. All of the elves running out of the forest just butt naked with like pickaxes for some reason. You're like, what is going on? And it's just a ride. And I at that point, you're just like along for it. I was laughing. I was like, they'd make decisions. I'm like, are you serious? This is the direction you're gonna go with this? It was just, oh man, I enjoyed every second of it.
that definitely does. That's a really great comparison, Ian. It did feel, now that I look back on it, like a Coen Brothers movie. Just like these characters that you love, but like you're like, you really doing that? That's how you're gonna handle it? No, like they just kept making these decisions and these movements. You're like, oh my, like, come on, guys. And that's how you feel like when you're watching a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Him like walking out of the warehouse with the cookies. like they're all like, oh my God, the cookies are basically like crack. And he's like, I'll just toss some here and toss some there. And then I'm going to get in this
And
helicopter.
the elves are like, ooh,
Exactly.
ooh,
Yeah.
cookies. I come away from this movie, like, when I watch like Zombieland, for example, when I watch Zombieland, I have to have a Twinkie afterwards. I can't help it. And I know, Ryan, I don't know if Ryan, have you seen Zombieland?
I have. We mentioned it on one of the previous episodes. I love Zombieland.
It's a Christmas miracle. Ryan has seen a referenced movie.
It's good. I love that movie. Mark the calendar.
Oh my God. Mark your calendars. The holidays 2024. It's a great movie, but I come away from it wanting a Twinkie.
That's true.
And in this movie, I come away, I need gingerbread after this movie. I gotta get my gingerbread
They
on.
eat it a lot. They eat a lot of gingerbread.
And good gingerbread. It's gotta be the soft stuff.
And you know what? Speaking of gingerbread, boys, this is a good time to bring up the fact that today I went by Horror Vibes Coffee in North Hollywood on Lancashire, the place where we put this very show together, the place where we all met and decided that we were going to do something together. I went by there. They have a gingerbread coffee on their special winter menu right now. It's called The Bride. It's bananas.
Ooh.
It's so good. So after this movie, I
thought you said it was gingerbread.
It's gingerbread, but it's called The Bride. They're doing a whole like Tim Burton menu.
So it's like Corpse Bride sort of vibe.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Go with me, Ryan.
Love it.
God.
I love it. I love their themes.
I love that you took me seriously. Like it is gingerbread.
It is gingerbread. Stop it. But it was delicious. I got my gingerbread fix on after watching Rare Exports and needing to get that fix. So thanks to Rare Exports and thanks to Horror Vibes for then filling my urge afterwards. So wait a minute. So we all agree it's a funny movie. I personally thought that it did a good job of balancing comedy and horror and adventure and all the rest of it. Do you guys think that it could have gone farther? Do you feel like it just missed a trick because of lack of vision or lack of budget or anything? Or were you guys satisfied with what you got?
I mean, I think like Ryan was saying, it felt like it kind of took a while to get going, right? So, maybe it just, I think that they took the idea of the two shorts potentially and just kind of like, let's make this a feature. But then just kind of were a little bit limited on the world, because I think there's a lot of world that they didn't really explore. Like, there was, maybe I missed it, but like, how the kids were taken in the bags towards the end and they rescued them. Like, did they really explore that side even occurring, like happening to the kids? So like, that's a whole other element that we could have been seeing, like, just like, even great, like, even great scenes in a movie, like a great set piece of like, how did these elves come in and snatch these kids? Like that would be a really frightening scene.
I mean, as much as I like the idea of keeping a Lovecraftian monster, Krampus Santa, locked up in a ball of ice and then blowing it up, and we never really see what the hell it is.
It would have been cool to see it.
I kind of wanted to see the gigantic Cthulhu Santa.
Yeah, true.
Let's go.
I almost expected it to come out of the fireball.
That's
for
what
a
I'm
moment.
saying.
I was like, yeah, I almost.
Let's go there.
And like to Daniel, to your point, like the Husk children thing is very minimally explored. I think that could have been a really cool thing, especially considering that they kind of implied that like the one that was coming to get Pietiri didn't make it and fell in the trap instead.
Right.
And that like the Husk kid was supposed to be for him. And then we get that with like his friend or whatever. Like that was a little underplayed, I feel like. And I think that could have been a cool thing. But the thing is, like, I enjoyed the end. I enjoyed what became of the rest of the movie so much. Like, yeah, the finale could have, like, there are a couple things that they could have done that could have gone a little further, but it was just so silly and so fun. Who cares? That's my attitude. It's just, oh man.
True, yeah.
I hear you, man. Like, because here's the thing. I'm of two minds.
Mhm.
On the one hand, I love the movie that we have.
Mhm.
Obviously, you know, I brought it into this. I love this movie. I think it's a really great Christmas movie. It's fun. It's light. It's dark. It's a little bit of everything. And as I said, I feel like it has a Christmas spirit to it as well, while also having a nice little vein of cynicism through it as well. But there's just so much about, as we were saying earlier, the history of Christmas, the Frankensteinian nature of the holiday. There's so many stories and so many aspects of it that you could draw from, that I feel that there's so many more things that you could do. The idea of the wild hunt, for a while there, you know, part of the like ideals, one of the concepts that came into Santa Claus was Odin, right? He was the old man who would visit your house, and he knew if you'd done anything wrong, and he would be leading the wild hunt across the sky on a winter's night, you know, on his horse Sleipnir with all its legs, which kind of leads into the flying reindeer. In typical Finnish culture,
Wow, that's cool. Okay.
you know, Santa is known as Joulupukki, and he doesn't fly. The reindeer pull his sleigh, but he's on like a sleigh, like a sled, like a little like sledge sled. He doesn't fly across the sky, but Odin does. Odin flies across the sky. Might be cool to bring that into it, you know, have something where Santa's flying across the sky on some weird mutated critter.
Chases after the helicopter.
Sure, yeah. See, Ryan, you're getting it.
I feel like the special effects might have been out of budget for the movie at that point.
I've left budget behind. I'm just spitballing here.
That's fair.
But yeah, like, I haven't have him be like an ancient god. Like we didn't really get into it in this movie. And again, while I appreciate the fact they want to keep a certain mystery, and they did, and I do like it when they don't explain everything in movies.
It really felt like a prequel.
That's
like
true.
It was setting up this new thing. That's what it like, especially with that ending. I was like, why has there not been the next movie then? Because this was so much fun that now they're gonna like open up the world. And like, not, this is a bad comparison, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Is that like what they were attempting to do with the new Jurassic World franchise of like dinosaurs are now in the world and we have to deal with them? It's like Santa Clauses are like in our world and we have to deal with it now. Like, that's what I felt like we were coming.
They inadvertently sent these evil elves all over the world.
Right.
And then they realized that Santa isn't dead, and now they've just infected the world with all these evil elves.
Right. There's definitely a lot more story there, I feel like.
So what we're saying essentially is that, and I'm going to mispronounce his name too, but Halmari Helander, who wrote and directed this movie, this is his baby. What he should do is try and get some of that Hollywood money and come back at this and do a much bigger, crazier sequel.
Can we talk about the advent calendar
Oh,
with
yeah.
the warehouse doors, the big 24, and the fact that he's like, I'm not going to open this, and then he opens it. But my favorite part of this movie, before it even got good, is the fact that he goes and he tapes it shut one day, and then him and his friend are in the room, and he goes and he's stapling the door shut, and at no point does a staple cross both sides of the door. He just staples on either side multiple times, which secures nothing. But he's like, I'm not opening this. I'm just going to put staples into the cardboard and not attach it to anything.
That's very, very true point. That's hilarious.
I was just watching it. I'm like, how? Like, what am I watching?
Son, there's something I need to tell you about advent calendars and doors in general.
You need to put it on both sides.
Well, for all you know, he could have just been putting it into whatever was behind the doors, because, you know, if you've ever tried to like push on an advent calendar door, there's some space behind it. It can go inwards as well.
No, but I'm saying, like, I'm not talking about the pressure. I'm talking about the fact that, generally speaking, it had two sides with a seam in the middle, and at no point did the staple cross the seam. He was on either side of it the whole time.
He's out of anger.
Yeah.
F this advent. Screw you, advent calendar. Take the staple.
I'm not opening this. I'm reinforcing it by not attaching it to anything.
Also, I've got to say, like, that is a deep rural part of the world to have a staple gun. What are we using this table? I mean, stitches?
Or like a commercial advent calendar for that matter.
I mean, I could see them getting like advent calendars are actually, that's the part of the world that they're from. They're actually Germanic, but so I could see it being, I mean, part of the idea of the movie is the commercialization of Christmas. So having
That's
a
true.
commercial advent calendar that he's like, I don't want none of this anymore. And that's actually something else that I wanted to talk about was the kids' awareness, right? Isn't one of the classic tropes of a Christmas movie where the kid believes in something that none of the adults do. But usually it's
And then he ends up being right.
he ends up being right. And in this, it's inverted, where the kid goes and does all this research. He goes up and sees them blowing up the top of the mountain. And he's like, oh, they're going to bring up Santa Claus. And his friend goes, Santa Claus isn't real. And he goes, well, I'm going to just find out. And he goes and researches Santa Claus. And he comes up with all these old Finnish tales and stories. And he finds the true origins of Santa Claus, which aren't exactly rosy. That's right. He used to come and steal kids away and punish them if they were any kinds of naughty. And he goes, oh, crap, Santa's evil. And this is the first 15 minutes of the movie. He goes, well,
It's like the opening credit.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Santa's evil, and I've cut, which, you know, invert that. In a lot of holiday movies, the kid's like, Santa's real, and I'm going to believe he's real, and eventually my parents will know he's real too, and then eventually, guess what? He's real, and the parents come to know the true meaning of Christmas. Not in rare exports, no, Santa's evil, and one day my parents will know that they need to fear Santa Claus as I fear him. And sure enough, by the end of the movie, oh, son, you did a good job taking down that evil Santa Claus with me.
Yep. You're a true man.
You're a true
Yeah,
man.
man.
And not only are you a true man, you're a true man who has worn cardboard on his ass the whole movie.
Whole movie.
I love that they never explain why Santa Claus is trying to get in his butt.
Yeah, they
They do. In the opening sequence, he swatches kids.
Is it the poker?
He
To give it the
swatches-
poker?
so it's for the
It-
protection.
Well, no, it's tree branches.
Oh.
He spanks them with tree branches till they have lashes, and so
good
he
eyes.
covers his ass with the cardboard to protect his bum from those swatches, which I thought for sure was going to come into play. It never does, but that just even makes it better. Is he's just wearing cardboard like duct tape to his butt the whole film, and he doesn't slide on it. It doesn't become useful. At no point is anyone threatening the kid. Like, I thought for sure something. Nothing.
Nope. It's just a cardboard
pure
butt.
aesthetic.
I love his outfit. I love his costume, whatever you call it. Like, I love that thing.
He's
that
all
wearing.
reinforced.
Yeah, the helmet, like the thing that he like built. It's like it. For some reason, I feel like I saw that, and I know that image and that kid was Rare Exports, not knowing anything else about the movie, but just kind of I've seen that kid before, and I think that that's pretty cool that choice and the choice that the designers, costume designers made for that was.
I'm pretty
was that
sure
look.
in the time since that movie, I have seen that cosplay somewhere. The Rare Exports Christmas armor done somewhere.
Yeah, that must be what it was.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I love that they reference it in the movie too. Of like the dad's like, "Oh, you're not gonna go play hockey." And it's like, "We weren't playing hockey."
Yeah.
And they're like, "He's like, so what? You're playing some rough game?" He goes, "Yeah, I guess in a way." Like he's like playing it off.
I'm a tussle.
Like-
I'm a tussle with Santa, Dad.
Oh my god!
You wouldn't understand yet.
Great.
Oh my goodness. So boys, it is that time of the show where we have to ask and find out and answer why someone died in Rare Exports. It's the name of the show. It's the theme of the show. And given it's the holiday season, we would be remiss if we didn't give our audiences the present of the knowledge of why someone died in Rare Exports. Ryan, why don't you take this one first? Why did someone die in Rare Exports?
I'll be honest, it's tough in this one because there's a surprisingly few amount of people who die. And actually one of them, I feel like I don't know why he died. It didn't feel super justified. But I guess with the construction crew, I feel like is the obvious answer of they said, fuck the safety rules. And literally that was one of the last words of the last standing crew member was fuck the safety rules before I guess he got elfed? ? We don't really see what happened.
It's pretty straightforward. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. And he told you why, because motherfucking Santa Claus is coming to town and he's going to switch your bum.
And he clearly didn't wash behind his ears.
No.
He was very dirty.
No, always filthy.
He was.
Absolutely. So he didn't follow the safety rules. All right. That's a good one. Dan, Why did someone die in Rare Exports?
I'm gonna go. What you're gonna have to remind me with names because I'm so bad with the names of these characters. But the kind of the evil Lex Luthor henchman guy that was paying for everything.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the character,
Yeah.
but the guy who was funding
The funding guy.
the construction. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, essentially, his greed got him killed there at the end. I mean, he shouldn't be messing with the past, something that was buried away, digging it up. So, like, digging up the past is going to get you killed.
The leader, Riley.
The leader, yes, that guy.
I'm glad you said that because I was like, I like. He seems to be the one who knows everything. And like, I don't know why he died, but I think you're right. He was greedy.
His greed. Yeah, he thought he did everything right. He thought he followed the rules, but he didn't realize. Yes, there's a metaphorical washing behind the ears as well as a physical.
Yeah.
And he had not done that. Well, mine is going to be a bit of left of center.
Oh my.
I'm going to talk about the $90,000 worth of reindeer who died.
Why they died?
Okay,
Why they died?
And that is actually going to be in the upcoming sequel. And it's actually going to be called Rare Exports 2, Rudolph's Revenge.
Oh
And it's
my.
going to be about how they were all killed by a rabid, psychotic Rudolph, who's going to be brought into this story as a way of bringing the Christmas myth all the way around back to its capitalist origins. I'm completely full of shit.
I was like, wait, is this a real thing? You kept this earlier from us?
Ryan's eyes were like
switching the audience.
Ryan's eyes. He was in
a
it.
kid listening to a Santa Claus story there. It was beautiful.
He was in it. He was in
I
it.
feel so bad for the audience. We're just bait and switching.
No, I'm sticking to it though. A psychotic vampiric Rudolph killed those, not the elves. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. This is why you died. You were friends with psychotic rabid Rudolph. There you go. So boys, it's time to
He did it.
It's time for the Scully Awards. We've got to give our ratings 1 to 10 skulls for Rare Exports. I'm going to throw this to Ryan first of all because he was effusive about this movie, and I'm dying to know. Typically, Ryan, on the show, you've been a little bit reserved with your skulls. How many are you going to give to Rare Exports?
I tend to be a harsh critic, but this gets a solid 9 from me. This movie's incredible.
That's high
A
for
new
Ryan.
record.
That's high up there. Wow.
I will take the 1 because literally 40 minutes of the movie you could just sleep through and still get all of the meat. But God, the end of this movie, dude, just like the absolute ludicrousness of a kid on a walkie-talkie hanging from a helicopter and like directing adults, and they're bringing in old naked men into an electric fence
Hanging from a helicopter, by the way.
filled with
Filled
children.
with children. The bag filled with children, like an inversion of the Santa Claus story. They're flying across the sky with a bag full of, instead of toys, kids.
Yep.
Kids.
After all the town's radiators got stolen, of all things. Like, this movie's
To
incredible.
defrost a gigantic demonic Santa Claus, I might
I
add.
love it.
Correct.
I love that. I love it.
9 out of 10 skulls.
9 out of 10 skulls. Unbelievable. Dan, what is your follow-up? How many skulls are you giving Rare Exports?
I think I'm going to go with a good solid 8. The reason why I don't knock it up to being perfect is like, I think what I go back to is that I think that there was a lot of cool ideas that they didn't necessarily explore. Maybe they took this really great idea and just stretched it a bit far and stretched it a little bit thin. And they could have added some really cool set pieces that would have kind of elevated it to, even more of a classic. But yeah, that's why I give it an 8.
You know what? I actually have to agree with Dan there. I feel like it missed a trick or two. I feel like it could have gone a bit further, done a bit more, but damn it. Instead of giving it an 8, just out of the Christmas spirit, I'm going to give it an 8.5. I'll give it that extra
Nice.
0.5 just because it is so much fun. I do have such fond memories of showing it in the bar and having people go. My favorite line, and I always knew on a Monday night if I was at that bar and I didn't hear this, and I only ever didn't hear it twice, I think, in like 10 years. If I didn't hear someone say, "What the fuck is this we're watching?" I knew I had failed. And Rare Exports always delivered someone to go, "What the fuck is this movie with the naked Santa Claus?"
Two scenes, I think, besides the naked Santa Clauses. If you walked in and you're like, when did Hostel 3 have Santa Claus in it? It really felt like a Saw moment when they had him hanging from the ceiling. I was like,
In the butcher room, yeah.
Whoa. I was like, this is getting dark.
And they're just eating cookies.
Yeah.
They're eating cookies staring at him.
See, and that's what's great is it really felt like a balance. Like it felt like At one moment, you're watching a Saw Hostel movie, and then at another moment, you're watching like a more adult version of the Goonies, but set in like a Christmas time. So it's like, it's a really great balancing act that it does. It's such a fun movie.
And they're like, how much do we ask for the grown Santa Claus? And they're like, $85,000. It's like, are you fucking serious? It's fucking Santa Claus.
Go higher, man. You can go. No, 85,000. That's my number. I'm sticking to it. Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
So Dan, even with that, you're sticking to your 8.
Let's go higher. Let's go. I'll match you with the 8.5.
Oh,
let's do it.
go.
Yes. There.
Yeah,
look at that. Our first negotiation.
Cinema.
I'll do it.
Our first negotiation, and we
8.5.
brought it up to 8.5. Kate Blanchett, who said this is one of her favorite movies ever, would be proud. So, boys, thank you very much.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this special bonus edition of This Is Why You Died, our first ever holiday bonus episode. It's been very fun, guys.
Holiday special.
Yes, happy holidays.
We could not let the Christmas time pass by, because besides Halloween being loving and horror going together, I really feel like Christmas and horror really go together pretty well.
It does. And as we said before, like, I think partly because Christmas doesn't just have to be religious, it can also have so many secular elements that are super cool. That being said, I encourage people out there, get creative. Let's see a Hanukkah horror movie. Let's see a Diwali, Kwanzaa, whatever.
Ooh,
let's go crazy with this stuff, or one that encompasses all of them. A creativity challenge for 2025.
8 crazy nights, but a slasher.
Let's go. Come on. It can happen. But everybody, we hope you have a wonderful holidays. Thank you very much for joining us. Whatever you celebrate, all the best to you, all the best to your family. Much love. For myself, I'm Sir Ian Dangerous. I'm going to throw out some love for Mr. March of Madness over there, Ryan Ross Live. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Please do us a nice holiday favor. Check us out on Instagram at TIWYD Pod. And please, of course, like, share, and subscribe. You have been listening to
This is why you die.